for the Morphling here as well. No way of burning his mana down, no way of really silencing him down. That's one thing you lack here on SMG. Control is kind of missing. You only have chains and lift and RP. Otherwise, the Morphling is going to have a free time and just attribute shifting away. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. You know, maybe a bit of a comb where, you know, just touch it up like that would look. Yeah, it definitely is too long. I guess it's time to give your barber that monthly visit. Still, speaking of predictions a while ago, Mike, this draft, I think it's going to be hard to call it, right? Like Ember versus Storm, that tends to be Ember favored nowadays, but Fearless can kind of work that out. SMG has some really good farm timings to hit with Midone and KP. The question is, will they take too much time to farm up? Because we know what Magnus needs. He needs Blink, he needs Echo Saber for the most part. Maybe even the Shadow Blade down the line and a BKB. So that's a lot of farm KP is going to have to soak up before they maybe even commit that first RP if they don't find the opportunity. Whereas for Motivate Trust, you're going to need some really good farm on Jacky and on Masaros as well. But there is some potential to play fast. You've got Lion, who, you know, once you hit 6, you're going to be looking for smoke opportunities. A Bristleback only really needs Hood of Defiance or Vanguard or both. And that is also a fair bit of farm, but it doesn't take too long for Bristle once you hit the levels up to feel tanky anyway. So there's some good back and forth in terms of timings, and we'll just have to see if SMG can just get that good farm rolling with her Mag, Jug, and Ember.
Absolutely. So I'll say it one final time before we officially have the game underway, but I apologize about the stream quality on Twitch. If you can't stream 1080, we do have the YouTube channel live right now as well. It is called Primal Roar on YouTube, and if you look up the channel, you'll see a live stream with all the quality options. Apart from that though, mid lane, John, Midone and Leona X staring each other down for a second. Eventually, Cheeky Undying comes in for some decay. Yet Mushi backs off.
Yeah, they've got some really good clump-up potential here for SMG, though. You don't want to force anything big with Mushi around, and MT Trust are spacing themselves nicely enough to not give that Undying some opportunities.
Yeah, this is not a smart fight for MTG. Q, he ran in for an Earth Spike. It's a bit of harassment out, but that'll be about it. It does seem like it's going to be a 3-for-1 trade, however, in terms of bounties. SMG able to get 3 for their own, and Masaros was only able to grab 1 on the Bristle. So it's going to be a bit of a net worth advantage to get things started for the side of Team SMG.
And they also get the D ward here from Mushi. He clears out that bot camp at the least, so he gets some additional gold, taking away the potential for blocking the pulls here for SMG. So it should be easier to stabilize the lane for Midone. He's on that Jug, up against the Bristle. Not the prettiest lane, but Midone already has his magic stick up, so you are going to be at least getting back some burst regen on hand. Once you hit level 2 with the healing ward, you're a lot safer, and even Mushi can do a lot of work here. Masaros on the Bristle is a strength hero, so every single decay stack takes away the potency of your own presence in front in terms of trying to take some last hits, and this is not the easiest lane for the Bristleback to work out with.
Well, Q's doing the smart thing by pulling the creep wave away, but Mushi does an even smarter thing by pulling the large camp over to just kind of get the aggro on that creep wave, but now they're going to try and punish. The only problem being now all the creeps are on the large camp. So they're going to miss out just a little bit here. Masaros, he may be able to kind of double farm the large cap as well, but he did miss the small creep there. It is a bit hard at level 2 to secure the large cap like that. Say, in the end, they still got quite a bit out of it, but I think you're happy if your SMG is Mushi. He's going to keep taking damage from Q, but it's eventually going to be able to back off. And with that, John, we should have a look at the mid lane, where Nia and Fearless are going to be up against each other. It's like Fearless is trying to be as aggressive as possible early on. Nia, for now, not opting to go for any points in the chain yet, so is just going to try and secure some CS.
Yeah, it's a stable farming lane for both sides. You are pulling slightly ahead for Fearless, so he's really working his right-click harassment with the Overload a lot nicer. Of course, as the Ember, you can't really gap close well with Static Remnant spam up, so Nea's just going to have to watch that spacing out, and does not quite have the bottle yet. You do have it on Fearless, so the Water Rune for now for Nea isn't the full value. Fearless is just going to have a little bit more presence with his. Still holding even. I think the major spike to watch out for is level 5 to 6. That's when the spells hit a lot harder for both sides.
Mid one, able to pick up first blood there onto Q. Looks like it was just a spin. Work out in the end. Nushi wasn't even around. He was going for a small camp pull at the time, so it was literally just a solo kill from mid one. While top lane, Leona X and Jacky get a little bit aggressive here onto KB and Fu, but I think SMG should be just fine in the off lane as well. In fact, right now, KP's actually kind of out CSing Jacky on the Morphling, so they have made it a rather tough time for this Morphling this game already. I suppose as the levels do go up, Jacky should be able to secure CS a little bit safer, but KP on the mag is going to be able to get quite a bit of denies off. Fu's going to be very annoying with the Fade Bolt.
Yeah, and there's a lot of strong combinations coming through for SMG. They've got Lift into Skewer Threaten. They can kind of pressure in that way. They've got really good damage with KP. And for the side of MTG... Oh, Leona.
Oh, they messed that one up.
Close enough,
bit of
but...
miscommunication there.
Yeah. For the side of MTG, I think one thing they can do to counteract that Lift into Skewer that we saw try to be pulled off is the fact that, you know, with Attribute Shift and the heal coming out from Abaddon, you can just fully shift Agi and get back to full HP. So you're always going to have that option once Leona does level up the Mist Coil. For now, it is a tougher lane for Jacky. Just trying to sustain against that harassment is difficult. You're still finding equal farm, but you don't really want that. Like, the fact that KP's actually evening out that CS means that KP's timings into his boots, arcane boots, into his blink, into his echo saber is not going to be that long.
Oh, they got the large camp pull off here. Fu allowed to get it off. I'm surprised Leona wasn't able to block that. That's a big loss there for MTG. It's going to be a big creep wave for KP underneath the T1 tower. They'll get the small camp anyway, but it's not going to be quite as effective. And Fu's going to get another large camp pull off. Leona, he can't really intercept now because KP's there to protect it.
Yeah, and this is one thing with Abaddon support. Like, in some matchups and some lane partnerships, it can work really well. With a Morphling, it's highly defensive. Like, there's not much aggression you can do. It's very hard to contest these kinds of movements from a hero like the Rubik. So you're just forced to kind of allow them to sap away, and this is really good news for SMG. We said SMG had a greedier start in their lanes. They're working every single lane out quite nicely, and this just means that they're not going to face those issues mid-game where they might be just sitting back and farming. They're still going to meet some item spikes to help them have some presence around the map.
A really nice large camp pull from Leona now. This large camp proving to be very annoying for both teams as it stands. Still, how's mid lane going? Fearless top the CS board right now, 37 and 8. Nia has not been able to really slow him down much on the Ember. Not quite yet anyway. I'm curious as well as to what Nia does go for in terms of itemization on that Ember. In fact, he's going to try for the chains now, but does not end up landing it on Fearless, and Masaros even TP'd in to give him a full bottle.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice move to just get that value onto Fearless, so he's not under as much pressure to contest the power runes at the 6-minute mark, and you already have the remnants out in Nia, so it can be a bit dicey for the Storm trying to close out. He does get lucky though. Regen for Fearless. Going to be a very happy lad. Luigi not really able to harass too much out. You're also at the point here where Masaros is just clearing out some stacks. There are a lot of stacks in that triangle, so he's had a bit of a slower time down bot. It is a free lane for mid one, but Masaros hasn't really died, and he still gets space to find some farms, so you're still going to meet some item timings. You do worry about the Jug getting a bit too much here, as mid one is actually going for Diffusal, so I love this. We tend to see a lot of Jugs with Magnus still go Battle Fury, but with a Diffusal up, Midwin's going to be able to fight that much earlier, and he doesn't need to really worry about Battle Fury time because KP will just empower him. Yeah.
We've seen this before as well, right? During TI, Diffusal Gyrocopter. Why not Diffusal Juggernaut? Just drain the mana of the Bristle and you'll have a lot less issues going on. Even up against the Morph and the Storm, it can be quite frustrating as Well, now to attribute shift, you do need mana. Arthur gonna get jumped on here. Fearless, nice rotation in. Arthur, he can hope for a deny on the Ancients, but no. He won't be able to get it. Leona X the one to take the kill. Fearless, he'll be able to just go back into the mid lane. He's still top of the CS pool.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, he's just really working this aggression nicely. This is kind of what we expect to come out from Nea, but his own timings are feeling a bit off. The farm advantage you have here on Fearless is noticeable enough that he does have one small item up to play with. He's building into the Orchid. He's got the Rope of the Magi and the Sage's Mask, so a little bit more mana for those zips. And Nea doesn't even have a casual rate band, still waiting for the phase boot. So our Ember is not really free to roam yet, which is not ideal here for SMG. I think if you look at the state of the game in the other lanes, KP hit 6, has Arcane and Soul Ring up. You might be able to maybe get a quick and easy rotation out on the Ember. Just force RP onto 1 and kind of try to build up through pickoffs.
Masaros, 55 HP, does get a nice stack off on the Ancient Cap. He's just got to be careful. Room handle waiting there. Hopefully Masaros does not forget about it. He won't. He knows. Still playing with fire though with that Ancient stack, but I think he should be just fine.
Yeah.
Top lane, Leona. Top wave does connect KP. He'd love a skewer back. He might just get one down the lift, and yeah, there it is, Leona. There's no way out of that one.
Middle tower is under
Now
attack.
the group up from SMG up at this top side. They want to go for the tier 1 top tower, and when you've got Nea around and when you've got the RP up on KP, there's not too much to be afraid about.
No, he should be able to melt this tower real fast, and MTG are not in position to defend. This is the one thing you sacrifice with a Bristleback. Like, Masaros just wants to sit back and farm the same as his other two cores. It's not a very active hero until a Vanguard, until a Hood of Defiance is up. You see a bit of a rotation up top, though. Looks like they might want to look for some punishment.
Yeah, I mean, Masaros can just stand here and defend for ages on this Bristle. Nea's going to try and maybe harass him out a little bit on this this Ember, but no, he won't even bother. Probably just not worth his time. Masaros will continue to chase down KP. And meanwhile, mid lane, Fearless, he's going to be fine. KP, he'll TP out as well. Masaros unable to get the kill, and everyone just kind of TPing out. Now Mushi's being chased down by Leona. Meanwhile, mid lane, SMG,
Dire's middle tower
they're going to get the push start on the T1 mid tower and try to force the rotations in. Who's going to be there? Spike out, Fearless. Not going to Vortex yet, but there's your Hex out. Omni was committed, but it's on the creep wave. Mid one does not kill anyone with it. Here comes Masaros on the Bristle. So Mushi's going to be targeted. They don't have the Nasal Goo, but they'll go after the Tombstone. Mushi, he does not have Soul Rip to heal it up, so they will be able to take it down, but they'll get Leona X instead. They get the Abaddon kill. They do force everyone to motivate to rotate into that mid lane. Now everyone just will disperse.
Yeah, it's a really good defense out from Motivate Trust SMG. They were lacking a couple of tools to really take and force a big fight there. And KP had to blow his RP TPing out from top because when he was trying to skewer away, he actually caught Masaros. So he wanted to just bail out, needed to blow the RP. It is a fairly long cooldown to have to expend just for a TP, and that just meant Motivate could get the defense off. Now they're going to look for a shove-in. They're the ones eyeing mid now.
Fearless. Zip in, he found Mushi. Trying to get some D-wards off. But looks like Mushi probably just going to forfeit his life away here to Fearless. We're trying to buy it a bit of time, but eventually the Storm will be able to take the kill. And well, Fearless is very close now to the Orchid, which is going to be a pretty big cause of concern for SMG. Meanwhile, the group up mid. Then that mid tier 1 tower, KP, has no RP available. Masaros is literally just going to turn his back and let the Siege Creep do the work. And it's working quite nicely, but here comes mid one with the rest of the team. Masaros going to be targeted, skewered, going to be off the mark. Masaros is still falling quite low, but not low enough. He's going to be okay. Leona X, the one to drop first. Now Nea keeps going for more. He wants Q on the Lion. Q's going to try and run, but the Earth Spike is out from Arfu. Masaros, he's been purged up mid one, he's got the Diffusal Blade, and now the RP in from KP. No games here from the Magnus. In SMG, they're onto the mid tier 1 again. In fact, they're all TPing out. The mid one, he'll be the only one to commit the TP fully as Nia. He'll stick in the mid. Jacky's gonna come back into the Morphling. Gets the chains out, Jacky. What can you do with this, Fearless? He's gonna zip in, but the Remnant the other way now from Nia, and he's quite healthy. He should be just fine. As MTG can't lock him down long enough. And once again, MTG are back into that tier 1 mid tower.
Are fortified.
I suppose without the RP up, they feel a lot safer, but Jacky's gotta be careful. They still have a lot of damage output. There's your lift up. KP, he could not get the skewer off. Here. Earthspike is there on the Ember. And now SMG group up. These mid tier 1 towers just not gonna last very long between these two teams, apparently.
Yeah, they just constantly force the issue out. It's been really good for SMG though. They take a 6-2 kill lead. They start to invade the triangle and they can keep punishing Leona.
Leona's having a very tough time, still level 5. Just about to hit level 6, but he won't quite get there in time. And I've got to say, John, SMG, I mean, you talked about it during the pre-draft conversation. They weren't having a very good time throughout the qualifiers, but right now in the lower division they are undefeated, and at least during this game 1 they are looking very strong.
They definitely are. They're playing around their timings real well. KP is not hesitating to just use RP as needed. Catches one, that's fine. Uses it to TP out safely, perfectly fine. Issue for Motivate Trust, offlane Bristle just does not have teamfight presence outside of tanking up. Like for KP, he can set up with RP, he can threaten with Skewer, he can empower his Magnus. But for Masaros, all he does is soak damage and hopes to get some Quilt Spray stacks up. There's really not much AoE control from Motivate Trust outside of a really good Earth Spike from Q. So there's a lot of pressure on the Lion here to set up in the 5v5s, and it's a lot harder for Lion to do that. Like we've seen the patience from Afu on his Rubik to steal out the Earth Spike, and that's enough to make it very hard for the Lion to fully commit without knowing where the Rubik is. So it's really hard for Motivate Trust to actually approach. And for SMG, they open up the map, they're going to look for more, they're grouping up top. Nea does have the Orb of Corrosion up along with Phase Boots, so he hits a lot harder. There's not even an Empower up on him yet. But once you start playing with that combo, right click start hurting a lot more. Saving up for the quick Manta, and once you have the Manta, you're going to be protected from that Orchid. So they've got the counter items to the Storm timings here, and they're just finding everything they'd want. There is a bit of a clump up from Motivate Trust in that Radiant jungle, getting some safe farm out for all their cores. It's a very limited spot for all 3 cores to farm in though, so it's not as efficient compared to SMG's movement across the map.
No, it certainly isn't, John. MTG, they're going to try and force in this bottom tier 2 a little bit. Meanwhile, SMG still just kind of happy to bide their time and keep the farm up. How's mid one doing? He's very close to that Manta now, and Nia's going for the exact same thing. Just wanting to try and counter out the Orchid that is already there by Fearless. The Manta is going to be the item choice for both cores on SMG. Meanwhile, MTG, obviously for them, they are going to be heavily reliant on Jacky farming up the Morphling, but for now, you kind of want to see them make a play. Like, you've still got this Bristleback that you can abuse early on. But it's SMG that are the ones that are kind of initiating team fights here. Like, they're going again, mid lane, Masaros, having his mana drained by mid one. Loses pretty much all of it. There's about 200 left. Fu sticking around, Masaros gonna give him the nasal goo, but Nia, give him a sleight of fist back.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
You can already see as the game goes on, that Diffusal Blade from mid one is gonna be a real nuisance for Masaros. Like, he has the Soul Ring and he has the Wand, but at some point it is gonna get rather frustrating just having no mana in the middle of a team fight.
Dire's bottom tower
it's just not... It's not ideal for the Bristleback, and I know you're saying that you can play around Bristle right now. They really, I don't think they can. Like, the threat of team fight coming through from SMG sticking this 5 is just too strong. A Bristle can't overcome all of the spells being thrown out, can't overcome the decay stacks building up, can't stop the Soul Rip from just healing everyone up as well. There's just much more for SMG to play with on hand. Whereas for Motivate Trust, they need to keep farming. They need this E-Blade up on Jacky, they need the BKB up on Fearless, and even with the BKB, KB, the threat of RP is still really big. So you take out the control from chains and the lift, but KP, if he finds a good angle, can still lock in that Storm Spirit.
Masaros, he's going to get pincered in here. He's in a pretty big, awkward position. Shockwave, Masaros losing a lot of HP. Fearless going to go onto KP. Tombstone has been dropped on. KP's just fine. He might just turn here. Leona, more time going to be popped. KP still looking for the Storm. Not going to be able to find it, but they'll take the Abaddon. I'll tell you, John, SMG, they're making it look easy right now. Motivate Trust, they are still yet to find an answer.
Yeah, it's just they're not able to fight. They just need to stall out and farm. They pull out their core, so the only hero they've been losing is really Leona X, which is great. Just losing the Abaddon's not too bad. Masaros.
Yeah, he's getting dived underneath the tier 2 tower. Now they need some help. Fearless going to come in right onto Arfu with the silence out. Will try to get rid of the Rubik, but he can't even get that. The heals are there. He does finally get him, but in the backside, the RP was committed. They lost Q already. Onto Jacky now, who's trying to take down KB. He will be able to get him, but mid one gets Masaros. So a very even kind of team fight. Both pos 4s and offlaners going down. The MTG, they do defend that tier 2 mid tower. I suppose with the Ethereal Blade now up on Jacky, he can start to get involved in this Morphling. But it still feels like SMG are finding the better end of things.
Yeah, I mean, they're the ones forcing the issue. It's Motivate Trust on the defensive. And in general, that's not where you want to be as a team. You want to be the ones forcing SMG in awkward spots. It gives you more opportunities to cut them off, more opportunities to see your enemy make some mistakes. And for the most part, MTG can't force that out from SMG just yet. They are kind of keeping this game even, though, despite being at a massive kill deficit. At nearly 20 minutes and they're only about 2k behind. So they're keeping up in the farm. Jacky's getting a ton of farm out. Masaros and Fearless are pretty even in terms of build-up. And it's really KP that's playing behind for SMG. He's even going full utility on the Magnus, going for the Glimmer Cape instead. They do go for the Roche here, though. And this one is something Motivate Trust absolutely can't give away. They need to spot it out, but they don't really have the best vision around the pit.
No, I mean, they're right around there, but they do not know this is happening. Even with KP walking out of the Roshan pit, they still don't see it because there's no wards on the right side. Maybe now they do, but it's going to be too late. This mid one can just finish off the Roshan. He'll take the Aegis. And of course, Motivate Trust probably going to have to back out of this jungle now as Jacky. Be spotted mid one. Defuse him up. Instead, Leona going to be targeted, but Shockwave will not reach. But I suppose perhaps with that Aegis up, you get a bit more farm up, and then you can move into that mid tier 2 tower. Motivate Trust, they're going to be forced to respond to this. I just don't know how they're going to respond.
It really relies on a couple things. Masaros living long enough for everyone to come in, and Q working this Blink Dagger. Like, he's got the Blink from the line, it's flying out. So there's some opportunities now for Motivate Trust to actually find the back line, maybe take care of the Undying or the Rubik. Heck, even the Ember, if you can catch him after the Hex, would be a really good pick-off to start fights with. And they just need to play around that. It's all down to Q and onto Fearless to follow up. A really good scan here from SMG does at least give a signal out to Nea. He's not going to be caught out here, and he can just kind of bait out with his Manta style.
They're going to fall for it. Earth Spike is out. Zip in. Oh, they'll realize it. They didn't really commit much. It's fine.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Top tier 2, though, is not going to be so fine. Still Masaros is going to try and apply some pressure in the mid tier 2 tower, but he needs a creep wave.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Now SMG, they can go high ground. If Motivate Trust do not back off, mid one can just keep going with the siege creep. He's going to force the TPs back, it seems.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
There you go. There's one from Q, a second from Jacky, and they kill the junk. Q has the Hex. Oh, he got a creep.
Oh, Q.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Bottom tower is under attack.
We've all done it. We have all done it. Fearless, he's going to zip in, look for KP. He will find the Vortex. They do at least get something for their trouble.
Yeah, that shit's
A little bit unfortunate there on the Hex, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on the line. He's the one who really needs to start these fights for him. He didn't quite get it there, so SMG's going to be happy with that. It would have been pretty awkward anyway. Mid-1 has Aegis. KP was close enough that if they did fully commit, I think KP might have just ran in, RP'd, and tried to stall out ASAP for his jug, and could have ended the same way. He'd spin afterwards, and then the Magnus is the one to die. So maybe not too much loss there for Motivate Trust and Theoreticals. Still opens up the map a bit more. They can start going a bit forward. There are some really good wards from SMG though, so they have seen all the movements out from Motivate Trust. Need some D wards down. They do at least take the Cliff ward. This ramp ward still going to be standing as it is outside of that sentry range. There's still a little bit of information there for SMG. They're farming up really well. Mid-1's almost at the point where Scotty's going to be up. Once you have that, the strength shifting on the Morphling's not going to feel amazing. The sustain coming out from the Abaddon's not going to feel amazing. With a Scotty on a jug, you're also very close now to having the blink on KP. I say that, but it just means he's queuing it up. You are getting these tools on hand, and SMG, with the vision they have, are looking for a smoke play.
I don't blame them. They understand how strong they are right now, and MTG still do not have an answer, it seems. Mid-1, he'll get started with the bot tier 2. Masaros going to be purged up again. They want to drain the mana straight away. Masaros, he's almost already out. Mushi with the tombstone going to slow him down. Mid-1 still going, and now Masaros is completely out of mana, but he will have a soul ring to use. Q, he'll go for a hex onto the jug. Earth Spike, not going to be on target. Masaros, Jacky, oh, he's been RP'd. They've got the Morphling, but the Aphotic Shield is going to save the day. Meanwhile, Mid-1, he's dropping low. He'll go for a spin. Fearless, he's in now. Onto the backside, but he's been caught out. He'll zip away.
Radiant's middle tower.
They kept going. Spike is there. They've caught the jug. Mid-1 is somehow still alive, though. They did not take out the Aegis. He's finally going to go down to Masaros. Neo and Mushi, both already dying, so now Motivate Trust, they can definitely keep going. They are a little bit low on mana, but Masaros, he does not care. He's in. Mid-1, going to be targeted. No, he'll go after Leona. Jacky will keep focusing the jump, but again, the creep wave going to come in. Still Jacky taking a fair bit of damage, but Mid-1, he is surrounded and should eventually go down. But KP trying to help out. It's just not going to be enough. Mid-1 still trying to run. Masaros getting lifted up. Mid-1, he's going to be all right. Or is he Q? He's trying to have a look. Instead, they're going to go after Arfu. Very prolonged kind of team fight. It's still going to lead to basically 3 kills on the side of SMG. Mid-1, he lost the Aegis, but he does not lose his real life. And
stupendous!
Well, it looks like Motivate Trust, they're starting to find their footing here in game number 1.
Yeah, I think it boiled down to one major factor there for SMG, where it went a bit wrong. Mid-1, he managed to burn off all the mana of Masaros, but then he kept hitting the Bristleback. Like, once you take care of the Bristleback's mana, you have to look elsewhere. You need to burst the other heroes. The line has to go ASAP. This time around, Leona X lived through most of that fight, so he managed to get a lot of uses out of his Aphotic Shield and Mist Coil, which just pushed and Motivate Trust right over the edge and surviving. So you need to be able to kill off the supports as the Jug, or any core. Ignore the Bristle. Like, you get full value from the Diffusal once you burn down his mana, but after that, the damage output of Mid-1 doesn't feel amazing. Like, with Manta and 2 parts of the Ultimate Orb, it's nice, even with Empower, but it still feels sort of lacking. The Crimson Guard on Masaros actually really saving Motivate Trust as well, building up that durability against the physical damage. So I think just some target shifting in the middle of the fight is going to be necessary. Like, once you take her, like, leaving a Bristleback alive with no mana, it's not a problem. Like, he does nothing. He's a melee creep that just runs around wanting some attention. That's exactly what SMG would want, and hopefully that's something they kind of tweak in the next fight.
Go up. Show up, Fearless. He'll be in that mid lane as well. Mid-1, gonna get started on the Abaddon. Q is there with the hex up into the Ethereal Blade. Jacky might blow him up. The Glimmer Cape is there. They cannot get him. The Jug is gonna be fine for now. Mid-1 is gonna be able to spin away. They don't have the damage output. And they did not have the detection either. Mushi, he will die. Earth Spike out from Arfu is gonna stop Masaros. Where was the dust?
I think it flew out. I think Fearless had it. He actually, I saw a dust fly, but it looked like they mistargeted afterwards. Maybe, again, target issues with the positioning of the camera, the angle there. They were hitting the Undying instead. And I think there was just miscommunication coming out from Motivate. They might have felt confident they had the kill, so they wanted to be efficient with that small window of control. Cost them in the end. Undying is not the biggest kill for them. SMG again scraping by the tips of her fingers there and just managing to stay in. 11-9. 1k lead now up for MTG. They can start applying some pressure on the lanes. They've got a Lotus Orb to save now on Masros. They can have even more frontline presence on the Morphling, just putting that on him. Jacky saving up for his Scotty, so you're going to have a Scotty versus Scotty on these cores. We need to see Midone, I don't know, get something else up. Like, he needs some damage. He's going for the Abyssal next. I'd say a Butterfly might feel really nice here, just to have some damage output. If not, Chuck's a strange one, because MKB is alright on him. It also feels like a bit of a weird slot if there's no evasion, so maybe a Maelstrom into Mjolnir would be really good for Midone, actually. Just going into more damage for the Omni, it just kind of lacks. He didn't manage to pop it there, though, so it wasn't a major issue in that fight. But Motivate Trust, they smoke up again.
That they do. Hanging around that their side of the river. Wanting to cross yet, Fearless. Top for Haste Room bottled up. Leona going to avoid the stun out from Arfu. I think SMG, it's almost like the tables have turned and SMG are the ones that don't really want to fight. Do have all the ultis up, so you might want to see a smoke soon from SMG.
Yeah, they're just waiting for that blink. KP just farms it up now, so it's flying in, and this is the moment where they need to smoke, get a good RP, even onto 2 heroes is going to be enough, and just force the issue out. Motivate Trust, they can play without worrying about cooldowns. They do have a fresh BKB here on Fearless. It's down to 8 seconds, of course, but that's long enough for the Storm to still have that great presence out, so you'll have to watch that. It's got the Kaya up, saving up for the Sanj next to have that added strength, added status resist. But there's that smoke on SMG.
Yeah, but they want to move in first. Will chance off. They found Fearless. That's a massive target. The Storm is gone. Now the RP up, but it's only on Q. Still, they'll get the Lion and make sure that he won't be able to get those disables out, as now MTG have no way to fight. They just need to run. Borrowed time. Going to be popped out by Leona X, but the run of Atos is going to fly in, and Leona X is gone. A triple kill out for Nia. And Roshan is up. I don't believe they've scouted it yet, but they should go have a look, and I'm sure Midone will be very happy with what he sees.
Yeah, just very well played from SMG. Motivate Trust, I mean, they're kind of spaced out, so the RP is never big. It also means that the saving graces you have with the Dispels on your Abaddon, with the Lotus Orb on Monsteros, couldn't fly out to save Fearless. So very well played coming out from SMG. And this time around, they're going to have Aegis, Cheese, and the Ag Shard. So we'll see who does get priority. It could be really good in mid-1, just to give that Blade Fury move speed and random damage, which is really strong. You could also opt to maybe give it to KP as well. The Horn Toss can kind of help you with setup. It looks like they will just slide it through to mid-1, so faster movement in Blade Fury, going to be even harder to catch out the Jug when he does get that spell off, and you've seen Motivate Trust kind of struggle with that. Not going to get any easier here. 2k lead now up for SMG, and Motivate Trust have to be careful. They know there's no RP, but they have to fight against Aegis Cheese.
Ross just kind of standing still, hoping nobody notices him in the Invis rune.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
KP. Cape out, sentry down, they've got him, they've got the Magnus, but Fearless has been lifted up, he'll get the BKB off. There's your finger, KP, he's gone. Onto Arfu now. That'll be your Rubik dead as well. SMG, not willing to fight without the full squad, just want to run now, but Ethereal Blade, nice man to dodge out from mid-1. To avoid the Ethereal, MTG, they may have to just kind of give up on this chase. But they already got 2 nice targets, and with that they can force them into your 2 tower.
Radiant's middle tower
It's
is under attack.
it's a bit hard, and SMG didn't have RP up anyway on
Radiant's
KP.
middle tower has
Respawns are
fallen.
fairly short, so you're not going to find much more here for Motivate Trust, but they win a fight against Aegis Cheese. That's really big for the side of Motivate Trust. They get to control that bot jungle a bit more, get their farm up and running. They already have a Scotty up on Jacky. They're just waiting for the Sanj on Fearless. Masteros now is pretty much unkillable with the itemization that came out from SMG. Like the damage output from Nea and from mid 1 just isn't amazing yet. They really need Empower on top of them in these fights to kind of get that damage flowing. Every single time KP dies without getting Empower on his course, it feels lacking from SMG. So maybe a bit more caution due here from KP to just ensure he's around to get that damage up on SMG's end, as without that Empower, they didn't itemize for damage at all. So they really need the Magnus around to buff them up. And Masteros?
You're in, nice skill there from KP. Masteros immediately targeted, but the opponent's shield does fly in to try and help out. He's still alive, still tanking. Mid one still trying to get him down, but now the Ethereal's out. Jacky gonna keep him even more protected. They'll go on to Q instead. They want the Lions in first. Q, he will eventually drop Leona now. Is getting quite low himself as SMG still moving in, but here comes Fearless from the backside onto KP, but it's not gonna be enough damage. There's way too much heals flying out, and Fearless, he has been bashed, and he will go down.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Great team fight from SMG. They just got everything they could have asked for.
Dire's middle tower.
There's no buybacks on Motivate. So they're going high ground now. SMG should be 1 racks down.
Yeah, they've still got RP here as well on KP. They popped the BKB on Fearless. It's down. And RP.
Oh, they got the big one. Jacky has no aquatic shield to protect, and they just burst him down.
Dire's middle tower.
Great setup there by KP on the mag, and well, Jacky has buyback, but he does not want to commit it like this. Not when he has no teammates alive.
Dire's middle barracks.
And even when they are alive, John, I don't know if he really wants to commit it. He might just let 2 Raxes go down and try to go from there instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Oh, KP. He's caught another Leona X being dragged in to the grass onto SMG. Masteros trying to back off. Leona, he will not have that privilege. Back mid one, trying to take the life of Masteros. Q can't hold back because Nia is right at the backside, and they've got another. Well, SMG, just look at the coordination out, John. You see mid one going after Masteros. Meanwhile, Nia, he checks for Q. He makes sure the line can't break the gap and get the Hex off. And now they're onto tier 4 towers. I think Motivate, they're going to buy back and try to defend, but it's looking very rough for them. Mid one still has the Aegis. They have so much sustain. Mid one is going to zip in onto Arthur on the backside, but mid one is going to come in with the spin now, and the batch comes down Fearless. He will be forced to zip away, but Q, he does not have zip available. Not on the Lion. As Jacky, he will die and he will get the kill on Arthur. So he gets the Ruby. And SMG, they're going to back on. Fearless now zipping it right through 3 of them, but the batch is there into the Abyssal Blade. They have got the Storm. Jacky, he is still trying. Mid one, playing around here, but he's getting really stunned up for quite a while. Leona now dropping quite low, but KP is going to be targeted. Jacky, he'll find another. Back on the mid one. The mad fight is upon us. The Junk bursts the morph. Mid one, which way do you go? Leona, he goes down. Another kill for the Junk. Onto Jacky again. Jacky is still trying to manage. There's your finger around Q. He'll get the job done. He'll interrupt. Now onto Arfu. They've got the Rubik down. He will glimmer cape, but it's not going to be good enough. Or is it? Arfu, what a little sneaky juke there. Does get himself out. And now KP's back. They have the RP up. Earthspike is out. Now Nia shows up with the Sleight of Fist and Chains. Arfu, quite low, gets the lift onto Masteros, and the Arcana, the Psychic Headband, excuse me, does get him out into the Earth Spike. That'll be it. So 2 racks is down, no tier 4 towers, but MTG are still going.
That they are. SMG just sort of forcing the issue there, not respecting the buybacks. Motivate Trust managing to find some angles. Their backs are against the wall now, though. Like, the moment they lose a fight, the high ground's going to be siege, and SMG is going to look to close the game out. They need to finish up this last item on Jacky. Looks like he's finishing up this Satanic here. And just go all in. Hope that your Morphling can overcome the Scotty. Hope that he can just stand and fight. The lucky bashes coming through from mid 1 has been changing the dynamic. Like, you can't just zip in for Fearless anymore. Once a Blade Fury's up with the Ag Shard, you're going to melt to that free right click attack damage, and you will just eventually get bashed at some point.
Uh-oh, Nia has been caught. The Ethereal, though, he'll get him. Fearless now, TP's into the outpost, onto Armfu, they'll find another. Glimmercade, not gonna save. Jacky has the damage. And Dota Plus was saying that there was over a 90% chance that SMG would win. But you never really count Motivate Trust out. They've done this many times before. In fact, there's 2 heroes down with that buyback right now, John. So you never know what they could do.
Oh yeah. They're going to try to force it. They have to respect the RP coming through. There is an RP and Omni ready to go from KP. And mid 1.
Gonna go in with a spin. Jacky will spin himself. Bit of a Beyblade action here between these two. Mid 1 will move in again onto Leona. No, they've got the Hex on, they've got the Jug. Mid 1. He's gone. KP could not save him. He'll buy back, but KP is going to drop with that buyback. Oh no, what have they done? In they go, Jacky. He smells blood in the water. He's under the tier 4 towers. And how do you stop this? It's 2 versus 5. They've got 15 seconds for Arthur and Nia, but they've got to buy the timeout. And even without KP, I'm not sure if they can fight this. Masrot, he's going to front line now. The Hex out. Fearless gets the Orchid. Back to the tier 4 towers, boys. Ancient should be exposed very soon, but here come the respawns. Jacky, he's been bashed up. Mid 1 gonna move in. Leonex trying to save him. The Ancient's still on the siege, but mid 1 is trying to fight. Jacky fighting back. There's no damage flying out now. Jacky's out of mana. This is looking really bad, but the Ancient is still falling. Motivate Trust. They're just gonna keep focusing it down. They've got it. Oh my god! They get it. They get it done again. You can't count these guys out.